This paperwork is a complete mess. What do you expect me to do with this? Frame it. It looks like something a child scribbled. The sharp voice cut through the low hum of the Department of Motor Vehicles. Mr. Samuel Hayes flinched, not because the words were loud, but because they were aimed directly at him. He stood patiently at the counter, a man in his late 60s, with kind eyes and a gentle smile that was now faltering. His clothes were simple, clean but well worn. He didn't look like someone who would cause trouble. He wasn't. Samuel held his breath for a moment. He was here for something simple, something he did every few years: renew his special veteran license plates. They weren't fancy, but they meant something to him. A small reminder of a time when he had worn a different kind of uniform, a time when he had served his country with honor. "Ma'am," he began, his voice soft, "all the documents should be in order. I checked them before I came." The supervisor, a woman with a severe haircut and a name tag that read D. Jenkins, Supervisor, scoffed. She tapped a perfectly manicured nail on his application. "Order? This is ancient, and this supposed proof of service could be from anywhere. Honestly, the things people try to get away with for a discount or special treatment." Samuel felt a flush creep up his neck. He wasn't asking for a discount. He was following the rules for a program designed to acknowledge veterans. He had his official discharge papers, his medals safely tucked away at home, and a lifetime of memories, some good, many hard. He clutched the worn edges of his documents a little tighter. His hands, though old, were still steady. "These are official, Supervisor Jenkins," Samuel said, trying to keep his voice even. "They are from the Department of Defense." Diane Jenkins leaned back, a smirk playing on her lips. "Oh, I'm sure they are. And I'm sure you're a 5-star general in disguise too, right?" She laughed, a short, unpleasant sound. "Look, old man, I don't have time for this. Either you have current, verifiable paperwork, or you can just get standard plates like everyone else. Or better yet, come back when you have something that doesn't look like it came out of a cereal box." A few people in the long line behind Samuel shifted uncomfortably. Some looked away, embarrassed. Others watched with open curiosity. No one said anything. Samuel felt a familiar ache in his chest. It was the ache of being dismissed, of his past being questioned by someone who couldn't possibly understand. He had faced down enemy fire with more courage than this woman showed dealing with paperwork, but he was a man of peace now. He believed in politeness, in giving people a chance. "Could I perhaps speak to someone else?" Samuel asked, still polite. "Maybe there's a misunderstanding." Supervisor Jenkins' eyes narrowed. "I am someone else. I'm the supervisor here. There's no one higher for you to bother in this office. Now, are you going to step aside, or do I need to call security to escort you out for disrupting the peace?" "Disrupting the peace?" Samuel glanced around. He was speaking quietly. She was the one whose voice was echoing through the DMV. He felt a deep weariness. Why did it always have to be a fight? Why couldn't people just be decent? If you've ever felt unfairly treated by someone in a position of power, type "unfair" in the comments. It's a feeling many of us know. Samuel took a slow breath. He could leave. He could just get the regular plates, but it wasn't about the plates themselves anymore. It was about respect. It was about not letting someone trample on something that was, in its own small way, sacred to him. Then he remembered. Tucked in his old leather wallet behind a faded picture of his late wife was a small laminated card. It had a name and a phone number on it. It was given to him years ago by a man who had been more than just a commanding officer. He had been a brother in arms. Sam. Colonel Thompson had said, "If you're ever in a real bind, and I mean a real one where the system is failing you, call this number, day or night." Samuel had never used it. He wasn't one to ask for special favors. But this felt different. This wasn't about a favor. This was about dignity. "Excuse me," Samuel said quietly to Supervisor Jenkins, who was already turning to the next person with an exaggerated sigh. He stepped away from the counter, his heart beating a little faster than usual. He found a quiet corner near a water fountain. His hands trembled slightly as he pulled out the card. He dialed the number. It rang twice. "Thompson," a crisp, authoritative voice answered. "Colonel Thompson, sir. This is Samuel Hayes, from the 7th Infantry." There was a pause then. "Sam, it's good to hear your voice, son, though I suspect you're not calling to chat about old times. What's wrong?" Samuel explained the situation at the DMV, his voice low and steady, just reporting the facts, much like he used to report field conditions. He didn't exaggerate. He didn't complain about Supervisor Jenkins' tone, he just stated what had happened. When he finished, there was another short silence. Then Colonel Thompson said, "Sam, you stay right where you are, don't go anywhere. What's the address of that DMV?" Samuel gave it to him. "All right, Sam, help is on the way. Just stand by." "And Sam?" "Yes, sir?" "Thank you for your service then, and thank you for having the courage to make this call now." Samuel hung up, a strange mix of relief and anxiety washing over him. He didn't know what the colonel would do, but he knew Thompson was a man of his word. He went back and stood quietly near the wall, watching the slow progress of the lines, the bored faces, the tired parents with restless children. Supervisor Jenkins shot him a venomous glare from her counter, as if his very presence was an insult. She probably thought he had given up. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Samuel remained patient. He had waited longer for more important things in far worse places. He just hoped he hadn't bothered the colonel for no reason. Suddenly, the main doors of the DMV burst open with a sense of urgency that made everyone look up. 2 men in sharp business suits walked in, scanning the room. One was older, with an air of absolute command. He spotted Samuel immediately and headed towards him. The other man, younger, looked like an aide. This was retired Colonel James Thompson. Even in civilian clothes, he carried the unmistakable presence of a leader. He walked straight past the bewildered security guard and approached Samuel, extending a hand. "Sam, good to see you, though I wish it were under better circumstances." His voice was warm for Samuel, but his eyes, when they swept over the DMV, were like chips of ice. Supervisor Jenkins watched this interaction, her jaw slowly dropping. She didn't know who this man was, but he was clearly important, very important. Colonel Thompson turned his attention to the counter. "Which one of you is Supervisor Jenkins?" he asked, his voice calm but carrying an unmistakable edge of steel. Diane Jenkins, looking flustered for the first time, raised a tentative hand. I am. Can I help you?" Her earlier arrogance was gone, replaced by a dawning sense of dread. "You can start by explaining to me," Colonel Thompson said, his voice dropping slightly but gaining intensity, "why you felt it appropriate to disrespect and deny service to Mr. Samuel Hayes, a decorated combat veteran who has served this country with more honor than you could comprehend in a lifetime." The entire DMV went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Everyone was staring. His paperwork," Jenkins stammered, her face turning pale. "His paperwork," Colonel Thompson repeated, his gaze unwavering. "Let me tell you about Mr. Hayes's paperwork, as you so dismissively put it." He then proceeded to list, in a clear, steady voice, some of Samuel's commendations. He mentioned campaigns Samuel had fought in, sacrifices he had made. He didn't raise his voice, but every word was like a hammer blow. "This man, Madam Supervisor, has earned the right to any veteran benefit this state offers, 10 times over. And he has earned the right to be treated with dignity and respect by public servants like yourself. If you think heroes who served deserve our utmost respect, type never forget below." Supervisor Jenkins looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her up. Her eyes darted around, looking for escape, but there was none. Just then, another man rushed in, looking harried. He was the regional DMV director, clearly summoned by the colonel or his aide. He hurried over, full of apologies. "Colonel Thompson, Mr. Hayes, I am so incredibly sorry. There is no excuse for this. Absolutely none." The director turned to Supervisor Jenkins, his face grim. "Diane, I have heard enough. You are suspended, effective immediately, pending a full investigation into your conduct. I suggest you clear out your desk." Colonel Thompson nodded curtly. He then looked at Supervisor Jenkins' now empty chair behind the counter. "And until a competent and respectful replacement is found for this station," he said, his voice firm, "I will ensure Mr. Hayes's needs are met personally. This kind of treatment stops now." He gestured for Samuel to come forward to a different, now hastily opened, counter where the regional director himself was ready to assist. The message was clear, her authority was gone. Someone far more powerful had, in effect, taken her place to right a wrong. Samuel's paperwork was processed in minutes, with sincere apologies from the director. He received his veteran plates and a promise that every DMV employee in the state would undergo renewed training on serving veterans with the respect they deserved. As Samuel and Colonel Thompson walked out, the people in the DMV, many of whom had witnessed the whole thing, started to applaud. It was a small, spontaneous gesture, but it spoke volumes. Supervisor Jenkins was left standing alone, her face a mask of disbelief and humiliation. Her career, built on petty power, had crumbled in 10 short minutes because she chose to bully the wrong quiet man. Outside, Samuel turned to his old friend. "Thank you, James. You didn't have to do all that." Colonel Thompson put a hand on Samuel's shoulder. "Sam, men like you are the reason I did what I did for so many years. Protecting our own, ensuring they are treated right, that's never too much trouble. It's an honor." Samuel Hayes drove home that day with his new veteran plates. They gleamed in the sunlight, a small symbol of a much larger truth, that true heroes are often quiet, unassuming people, and they deserve our deepest respect. And sometimes, when they are challenged, their hidden strength and the loyalty of those who know their worth can change everything. What happened at the DMV that day became a story told and retold. It served as a reminder that judging people by their appearance or their quiet nature can be a huge mistake, and that a single phone call, born of quiet dignity, can move mountains. Let this be a lesson to all of us. Respect everyone, for you never know the battles they have fought or the quiet heroism they carry within them. True strength isn't about how loud you can shout, but about the integrity you hold. If you believe that our veterans deserve honor and fair treatment always, please subscribe to this channel and type heroes in the comments to show your support for quiet warriors like Samuel. Thank you for listening.